How to play Structure Deck Blue Eyes White Destiny. In today's video, we'll be looking at the basics of how to play this new Blue Eyes Structure Deck. We won't be looking at any of the combos today, mainly because since Structure Decks have only one of most cards, the combos for decks are a little bit hard to pull off. So we're just going to look at how to run one copy of this deck, but if you want to see combos for this deck, then be sure to subscribe, as that video will be coming out soon. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so obviously the goal of this deck is to bring out our Blue Eyes White Dragons. This deck runs 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon as well as Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, which is a much easier way to basically get out another Blue Eyes. It's counted as Blue Eyes while on the field, and it's another level 8 to go into our extra deck plays. Once you've got out your Blue Eyes White Dragons, 1 or 2 of them, you can go into pretty much any of your extra deck monsters, either your level 9 Synchros with level 1 tuners, or your rank 8 Xyz monsters using 2 of your Blue Eyes monsters. The next card is Sage with Eyes of Blue. This card is the most important card in the deck. It's a key starter for the deck, and we're very lucky that the deck actually comes with 3 of them. What you're going to want to do in most duels is just normal summon this guy to start off. When he's normal summoned, he allows you to add any level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand. Now, we have quite a lot of light tuners, including White Stone of Legend, White Stone of Ancients, both of which allow you to get Blue Eyes on your hand or field. Master with Eyes of Blue is one that we're least likely to go into. He's not the most useful, but can come in handy. And of course, one of our 2 copies of Effect Veiler, both are level 1 light tuners to get that extra negate as the final card that you would add to your hand. But the main card that we want to add to our hand with this effect is Maiden of White. With Maiden of White's effect, we can send her from the hand to the graveyard to immediately place True Light onto our field face up. Placing True Light on the field face up will allow us to go straight into its effect. The effect that we're going to want to use most of the time is its second effect. Set 1 spell or trap from your deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon with a different name from the cards on your field and in your graveyard. So this card will allow us to go into any of our spell and traps that mention Blue Eyes White Dragon, of which we actually have quite a few. Chaos Form, Ultimate Fusion, Majesty, Ultimate Creature of Destruction, Destined Rivals, Burst Stream, Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, and of course, Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Wishes is going to be the first card that you're going to go into with this effect most of the time. With this card's effect, you can discard it to add another level 1 light tuner as well as another spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon, which will then of course be our Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Now, for the main combo of this deck, once you've gone through that line of Sage with Eyes of Blue, Maiden of White, True Light, and then Wishes, you're going to use your Wishes to grab another Sage, and I'll tell you why later, and of course check out the combos video, but we're going to be able to summon this guy again and then get another level 1 light tuner. So once you've grabbed your Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, you can use this card to immediately summon Blue Eyes White Dragon straight from your hand, deck, or graveyard, making this a very good card. And then once you do it, you'll be able to go into your extra deck plays right away. So like I said, there are a bunch of other spell and traps that mention Blue Eyes White Dragon. They all do different things. Most of the time you're not going to be searching for them. They're just very useful once they get to the hand, but there are other cards that allow you to search for them. Destined Rivals in particular is a very strong card that acts as basically a 1-turn skill drain as long as you have Blue Eyes on the field. Next, let's take a look at the rest of our monsters. Kaiser Seahorse is a pretty good tuner monster for this deck. It's not the best, but it will allow us to go straight into our Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and he is more or less the easiest way, if not the only way, to go into that with this deck, other than going for your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which is the one you're going to mostly go into. Dictator of D is another good card to have, as he can be special summoned from your hand by discarding a Blue Eyes. Speaking of special summoned, Neo Kaiser Seahorse can also special summon himself from the hand if you control Blue Eyes, which is a great effect. And our Maiden of White can special summon herself from the graveyard, giving you another tuner to work with. The rest of the monsters aren't all that useful, and you're not going to go into them that often, but if the moment arises, they are all level 8 monsters, allowing you to go into the Xyz plays. The field spell Mausoleum of White is a Decent addition to this deck. You don't need multiple copies of it, but it does allow us to normal summon a level 1 light tuner once per turn. So like I said with the main combo line, we're actually going to go into this by searching it with the effect of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This will allow us to go into our second stage and just add our effect Veiler and continue from there. Chaos Max Dragon and Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon are both excellent ritual monsters, but they're not all that powerful, and ritual monsters in general just aren't the best. I mean, since we're running this deck at only one copy, you can go into it with Chaos Form to ritual summon them, or you can also summon it with the effect of Majesty of the White Dragons. Both of these cards can be searched, so if you happen to end up with your ritual monsters in the hand, you can search for either of these to then summon them. Next, let's look at some deck thinners, starting with the Melody of Awakening Dragon. You can discard one card to add up to 2 dragon monsters, 2 of your Blue Eyes White Dragons, basically, from your deck to your hand, which makes it an excellent way to thin out the deck and just get Blue Eyes in the hand, or your Blue Eyes alternative as well. You can add both and then just go into them. Trade-in, of course, is an excellent draw card. Discard a level 8, of which we have many in the deck, in order to draw 2 cards. Finally, we'll take a look at our hand traps. Aside from Effect Veiler, this deck comes with 4 different hand traps, well, 3 different hand traps and a Call by the Grave. Always fantastic. You should know what to do with these by now, but on your opponent's turn, this card negates card effect, this card negates things that search, and this card just basically wins you the duel. That's all we have for the main deck. Like I said, the main strategy of this deck is going into your Blue Eyes and then going into your extra deck plays. Using the starter monster Sage with Eyes of Blue makes this very easy to pull off, as he searches for your Maiden, who searches for your Trap, which searches for your spells and your Blue Eyes, and gets them all on the field, allowing you to go into quite a few extra deck plays. The first card that you're gonna go into is your Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is a link monster that can be summoned using a dragon or spellcaster, which is pretty much every card in your deck. And when it's link summoned, it will allow you to search for the field spell Mausoleum of White, allowing you to go into more combos. It also has the bonus effect that if you tribute it, you can special summon a Blue Eyes from your graveyard. This effect can certainly come in handy, but more often than not, we're just going to link it away to go into Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. This is a very powerful card that allows us to return a card from the field to the hand on our opponent's turn, so that's a fantastic interruption to just bounce any of our opponent's monsters. Next, for our Synchro monsters, the main Synchro we're going to go into is Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Very easy to summon. You just need a Blue Eyes or a level 8 plus a level 1 tuner in order to go into this level 9 beauty. This card has a fantastic effect that on the opponent's turn, you can send it to the graveyard to special summon one of your other Light Dragon Synchro monsters. This will allow us to go into a Zero Eyes, who has a good effect during the standby phase, or more importantly, Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. You can summon this using your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon without having to use a whole bunch, like 2 tuners and 1 of your Blue Eyes monsters. This card has a fantastic effect during your opponent's turn, or any turn really, quick effect. You can negate a card effect on the field. So this is a Omni Negate, pretty much just negates any card effect, but if it's summoned with Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, it will be sent to the graveyard or destroyed during the end phase. However, this card has a bonus effect with great synergy that when it's destroyed, you can special summon a Light Dragon monster from your graveyard, allowing you to bring back your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon right away, or just go into your Blue Eyes White Dragon if you've got plays in order to go into the Xyz monster, Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon. This card is less likely that you're going to go into it since it requires 2 level 8s, but if you do, it has a very good effect. First of all, when it's summoned, it negates the effects of all of your opponent's monsters, as it all face-up cards your opponent controls, which always great to negate your opponent's card effects and allows us to go for an OTK. It also has the effect that you can detach one of its materials to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard, again setting you up for the OTK. With one of these plus a Blue Eyes plus another 1000 attack, that's game over, nice and easy. Speaking of powerhouses for OTKs, we also have the Blue Eyes Fusions. Now the way we're going to summon our fusions is of course with the spell card Ultimate Fusion. This card is a quick play spell, so you can use it during the battle phase or your opponent's turn. If you use it in the battle phase, of course, that helps you set up for the OTK. and it allows you to fusion summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling the materials from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck, making this a very easy card to use to go into your fusion monsters. Of course, we have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as a good fusion, but the main ones you want to go into will be your Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon or your Blue Eyes or your Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. These cards have great effects that just really set up your OTKs and of course have very high attack points, making it very easy to kill your opponent. We also have Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, which while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a Blue Eyes monster. So that's just another way to get out our fusions. Last cards to look at are of course Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Now Tyrant Dragon we're not often going to go into because its effect isn't that fantastic, however, but there is a way to get our Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon onto the field much easier, and that is Wishes for Eyes of Blue. This card has the effect that you can banish it from the graveyard to equip a fusion monster to a Blue Eyes monster you control. Now I would equip the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon since we're almost never going to summon it, but then you can use your Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which can be summoned by tributing a Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster. And this card is unaffected by trap cards, but it can also attack all monsters your opponent controls, making it a decent card to help clear the board for the OTK. So that is pretty much everything that you need to know about Blue Eyes White Destiny. The deck is pretty simple. It's a Blue Eyes deck, right? Blue Eyes decks are all about power, OTK. It's what Kaiba would have wanted. To run this deck, all you have to do is bring out your tuners, especially Sage with Eyes of Blue, and then go into your Synchros, your Link monsters, and of course, when you have the chance, go into your Fusion monsters to set up for the OTK. Now this deck, while it is an OTK deck, it also works very well going first. What you normally would want to do is set up the initial combo that I told you about with your Sage with Eyes of Blue. When you finish this combo, which I'll explain in more depth in a future video, you will end up with a Seal of the Heavenly Spheres to bounce an opponent's card to the hand, a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which allows us to go into our Omni-Negate Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and you will end with Effect Veiler in your hand. With this setup, you'll be set with 3 negates or 3 interruptions on your opponent's turn, which is normally enough to stop them from doing most things, and then you'll also be set up for the OTK on your next turn. So going first is actually really good in this deck, but it does rely on you having your Sage with Eyes of Blue in your hand for the first turn to pull off that combo. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if you have any questions about the deck. And subscribe because soon I will be releasing the 3 copies of the structure deck, combining 3 into one deck, and of course, the combos video for this deck. So if you want to see more about this deck, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all so very much for watching. My name has been Senkara, and until next time, see ya.